It was a packed house for the Development and Planning Commission meeting this morning, with taxi drivers, the opponents to the overhauled cable car service, turning up en masse. MH Plan today presented a revised proposal to plans they presented back in October. At the previous session, the DPC had expressed concerns over the impact increased tourist numbers could have on the nature reserve. MH Plan's proposal included new towers and carriage lines, a new cable car station at the Grand Parade site, and an overhauled Upper Rock station with a greater footprint. Back in October, John Gagero of MH Plan described it as a once-in-a-lifetime project that would future-proof the cable car service for the next 50 years. But the DPC felt that the revised plans were not thorough enough, with Minister for the Environment, John Cortes, asking the application be conducted with greater rigour. The Commission had previously requested a visitor management plan and an assessment on how increased tourist numbers would impact on the nature reserve. Today, they felt the revised presentation was not thorough enough. Daniel Feetham QC, representing the Taxi Association, the project's opponents, welcomed Minister Cortes's intervention and said the DPC needs to get this right, adding that if there's an adverse impact on the environment of the nature reserve, then, as a matter of law, the application should be refused. Mr. Feetham also criticised the visitor management plan presented today by MH Plan, saying it was woefully inadequate. Plans for the new cable car service have now been deferred to a later date, when MH Plan will have to present further assessments and recommendations, as well as a detailed visitor management plan. Also at today's session, the government presented plans for 2 new primary schools and a new St. Martin's school, which would be built on the current site of Bishop Fitzgerald and Westside schools. The proposal is for the demolition of the current buildings to make way for new low-rise buildings of 3 and 4 stories in height. The new build would also allow for improvements to the area, such as widened pavements and a bicycle lane planned for the perimeter of the site. The Commission also heard the new schools could see the Queensway Junction by Regal House reconfigured, but this was still being assessed by the relevant authorities. 190 parking spaces could become available underneath the new schools, with no decision having been taken at this stage as to how they could be allocated. Overall, Commission members welcomed the low-rise buildings and their density, with John Cortes saying the new buildings would not overwhelm the city walls. He also confirmed that the new rooftop sports facilities would be available for wider community use outside of school hours. Government projects do not require approval and are presented to the DPC for advice only.